Alright guys, so I'm back. It's been a couple days since we've had a break from the weather to get on this house. So far this is what I've got. I set up the roof frame. This is what I did. If you can notice up there in the corner, I didn't really care too much about setting up the joints real good. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to be setting this plywood or this particle board, whatever it's called. I'm going to be setting this 1/2 inch up against here, up in the corner like that, and then with the other one joining, it'll cover all that up real good. And then ultimately this is what I'm going to do with the trim on the ends. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to get some Elmer's glue and some sawdust, and we're going to cover up all these holes before we start painting. What I did to match up these 1/2 inch pieces, because these are just cut-offs, I don't want to go to the store and buy another sheet, and they're like 35 bucks. So see, I just put that piece of wood right there so it can level off in the front and be flush. I put this piece right here so that I could run my 1/2 inch sheet across the top right here. So once I cut that out to fit, then I'll drill all the holes in this area. I'm gonna see about making this half of the roof liftable, possibly putting some hinges up in the corner up there. That's why I haven't framed it up there yet. I wasn't sure how I was gonna do it, but that way I can access the light or whatever heating source I have through the side without having to crawl inside the house. As far as size goes, it's wide enough for us to fit in and out comfortably without having to get on our knees. So we're just gonna go ahead and leave it like that. If we need to come in here and pull out their toys, pull out their bedding and wash it or clean out the area, it's comfortable enough to where we can get in there without having to crawl. I bought some tiles from Home Depot for 32 cents a piece that I'm gonna glue on the floor, just so that these dogs always get into somehow they get into water or mud. I would hate to have that floor start wearing down, you know, within a few months. So we're just gonna put that tile on the floor, and you know, kind of hope that it makes that wood last a lot longer. Those tiles, if by any chance they start getting ripped apart, then you know they're 32 cents a piece, and we can replace one after another as they go out. So right now, like I said, I measured a foot on that piece right there, and then I just caved it off like a hey, say hi to YouTube. Say hi. Anyways, so I just tapered it off by putting a piece of wood from this corner right here straight to that 2x4 on the side. I marked it with a pencil, and then that's how I got my corners on both sides. Then I just notched it with a handsaw, and I was able to do that. You know, I could have done a better job in the corner, but like I said, it's extra work that's not gonna show, so why bother with it? For the back piece, I'm gonna use some of this 1/2 inch stuff to cover off the back. It's gonna be, you know, not necessarily an eyesore because it's different wood, but it's the back of the house. You'll never see it, and then we're gonna paint it the same color. So I mean, it's not a big deal. Beats spending another 35 bucks for half of a sheet. I got this wood right here with the, I don't know, it's like some kind of a shield. And it's 15 bucks a sheet. This is what I'm going to use for the roof. I'm going to face this down towards the inside of the house, and then the shingles will go on the top side, in hopes of that helping, you know, the little area stay warmer. And then we'll go from there. So let me figure out how I'm going to set up well, first I'm going to put the 1/2 inch right here, and then I'll see what I'm going to do for the roof. Alright guys, So in order to get the top part of the inside of the roof here, I had to just remove these pieces up from under here just so I can get a solid piece. I didn't want to have to cut it through the center and then put two separate pieces in. So now I will re-put this side back on, but I just wanted to show you guys. I just notched out the wood on every area that you know those 2x4s are going to be in the way of. So I notched all of those. Now I'll drill. I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to try to get probably about 30-40 holes in the whole area right here, so that or I'll see, depending on the size of the hole that I find. I have some of those bits that make the holes through the wood, but so this will be basically the attic area right here, you know. So I'm thinking of making a hinge right through the center, so I can lift up this side up like that, and I can have a light right here, resting down, giving them heat. Alright guys, so this is what I have so far. Starting to put the roof up. I chose not to put that paper that goes underneath there. It's like $60 for a roll, and honestly, I couldn't find anything that sold a small amount. Everything was for like a huge amount, you know, for 60 bucks. I'm good on it. I'll pass. So I'll just make sure that I put enough shingles on there to make the water, you know, go down without it protruding through to the wood. So this is what I did up here, if you guys can see. That's what I did for the roof. I'm gonna put I'll just throw a piece of wood in here, just so whenever I come in here I can hold it up like this. But what we did, we put those holes only in this area right here. What we are gonna do, we're just gonna hang this light up. We're gonna put a hook on this roof so that it hangs probably a couple of inches, like an inch maybe from those holes. Like right in that area right there, so that it clears the, see, the sideways, so it clears the roof. Let me show you what it looks like when it's shot. And that's what it looks like. I still have to finish this side, but what I'm gonna do is just overlap all of these. See, this overlaps that. So when I lift up, I need to tighten it up a little bit more, but so this will just fold up and then down and then back up. As far as the shingles go, I'm gonna put another one up here this way. I don't care how it looks up here. I'll try to run a piece of some of this galvanized steel up here maybe later on once I set all this up, just so that it splits the water in both directions. But what I'll do for now is I'm just gonna set shingles up just like that, you know, make sure that there's no water that gets in there, and then I'll start running it from the bottom up. That's how you're supposed to run, supposedly. That's what you're supposed to run the shingles, this lower one first. But I wanted to make sure that at the top I already have something that's you know, set up in the very center. I wouldn't want to get all the way up there and find out that the shingles are too short or too long. So I went up and did that first. Now I'll start from here. As soon as I put this piece of galvanized right here. The reason why I gave this gap is because I still have to stick my my molding. As I put the piece of wood in here, I still got to stick my molding in, so that'll sink inside there like that. And therefore it's only about a ½ inch gap. So yeah, I'll finish off this roof. I think there's enough space up here for maybe even to store some of their food, different things that we use for them throughout the year that maybe they don't need outside all the time. So it's another little hidden storage area. So as far as I was thinking of covering up. See, let me show you guys. Well, I can show you right here. If you look underneath the area right here, I'm thinking of putting a 2x4 to cover that up. But I'm thinking in the summertime, I can actually just take it off so that it gets more air inside there, and it saves them from the sun, but it still gets air inside the house. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll leave this alone for now, but it's just an idea. Okay guys, so this is what I got so far. I put up the roof on this side. I'm obviously no roof expert, but there's the girls in their doghouse. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna finish painting off. Well, I'm gonna paint off the whole, all walls, all around. I'm not gonna put the trim just yet. I'm gonna go ahead and paint the wood first. See, that's what I did on the back. We ended up doing, so we want to spend more money on some wood putty. We just went ahead and mixed in some Elmer's glue with some sawdust, filled in the gaps. It worked out pretty decent. Since I had bought one case of those the shingles, I'm short a couple pieces, so I'm gonna have to go back to the store and get some more. As far as the laminate, this is what we did. 32 cents a square foot. It works really good. The girls like it. What I did on here, I just kind of sanded with my die grinder. I'll be able to see some of the ripples, but I'm okay with it. I mean, it looks okay versus what it was, all the big gaps that it had on here. With the paint, it'll hide it a little bit better. I took off the trim that I had in here. It was just so that I wouldn't have to do double work on painting here and then getting some paint on the trim and then having to do white and then getting some of that white on the wall. So that's why I'm going to paint the whole house first, and then I'll do the trim in white. What I'll probably do is paint the sticks before I even cut them in white. Then I'll cut them to shape, and then I'll just touch up the corners that are cut. But yeah, this is it so far. We had the light on all night last night. We kept coming checking on it. That's how I did it. Very simple. I was in there with them last night, and it is not hot. It is not warm. It's just like at a room temperature. It was so cold outside, so it was at room temperature inside. Not cold. I can actually sleep there overnight, and I wouldn't freeze to death. So big plus on that light. What else? So right now, let me just paint, and I'll start that back up when I start the trim. Alright, so I'm done with the paint on the exterior of the house. The color I went with is a Glidden GLD 2011 oak gray. It's kind of like a soft gray. It's not too dark. I think we bought this color because we were gonna paint one of our restrooms this color, but decided to change it so the paint was available. What I'm working on now is I kind of more or less set those in the spot where I want them. So this is the pickets that I'm gonna come up with. This is just well, somebody's snoring in there. Yep. Those are just gonna be for decoration. What I did, I decided to go with 6 on each side. I'm not going to put anything on the back. It's a lot of extra work for no views. And that's how it's going to look. You don't have to go with pickets like that. You could just go with a solid piece like this. A lot easier. But let me show you how I'm coming up with that piece. What I did, I made a jig. And then I just traced over all my pieces. This is 6 inches. So what I did, I found got a piece of wood like that, Then I marked it a line straight across the center. Then what I did, I took a spray cap from the spray cans, and I kind of put it more or less where I liked it. So right there, I marked it. Did the same thing on this side. Marked that. And then a few times on a couple pieces I went straight across. Didn't like it. So that's when I did my curve. And it looks way better. So that's what I came up with. And I just used this as a template. Marked every single one of those. Now I'm just cutting them with my jigsaw. And that's what you come up with. So let me just finish cutting all these up. I'm probably going to use a nail gun to get them all in there. I don't have short nails, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the dogs out. I'm going to nail everything in there. They're probably going to protrude about 1/4 of an inch past their wall. So I'm going to go in there with my grinding wheel, and I'm going to cut every single one of them off. Make sure it's nice and smooth. So let me finish cutting these up. Alright, so I got all my pieces cut. Use this old belt sander to clean them all up. Got 18 pieces, 18 pieces, 18 pieces. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start framing up the house. And once I do that, then I'll be able to find out where I want to cut my bars that go across for the picket fence. All right, guys. So we are pretty much done with the trim. I started putting the fence picket. Finished the roof. So what I'm doing right now, I'm putting all of these side by side, painting the edges first, then I'll paint the faces, just so that it's not a lot harder for me to paint once I put them back on there. I would probably mess up this paint, you know, so I would have to come back and touch up all this stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now, is painting this up. It's a lot easier this way. Plus I don't mind how they're gonna come out if they're gonna have like overspray or whatnot, like overlapping paint, I mean. So it makes it easier. Once this is done, I'll start putting them on there, and I'll show you guys the finished product. The girls can't wait for their house to be done. Okay, so I got the sides of these painted. I'll flip those over when I have some more room, and I'll start painting those too. But what I've done so far is measured 2 inches from the bottom to the top. I set my bottom fence, I don't know, fence post, I guess, rail. So I've set the beginning of the fence 2 inches high from the edge, and I've measured them somewhat spaced out. I came up with 8 inches center to center, so that's what these are. So then what I'll do right now is I'll set these in place, and then I'll set that other piece above those, and then finally these right here. That'll finish off my fence. Same thing for here. So right now I'm just gonna get to this side and do it on that side too. So okay, so at this point you guys can stop, maybe just put an inch or two of those little squares on the top part, make it look like a basic little fence. If you want to do it like that, you could do it like that. Still have to cut the piece for the top, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish off with those. Just wanted to show you guys what it looks like and put together. Alright guys, to get the arch for the top of the door, this is what I'm doing. I'm using the cutout for the door. I'm using a piece of the trim that I'm going to use around it, which is about 1.5. That's how I came up with the arch right there. What you do is you set your arch or your door about 1.5 inches in from the edge, 1.5 inches in from the edge. Then you get a small piece of the trim that you're gonna use. You get like that. Then you grab a pencil, you put it up against there, and you slide this block just like that all the way around. And basically gives you a nice curved 1.5 inch mark. That way when you set your trim on there, it'll line up perfectly to that, as well as this side. It's an easy way to get a nice arc without having to fold wood or wet it. Then you simply just move this out of the way. You have your arc, and then you use your jigsaw to cut it. So that's what I'm gonna do just now, and then I'll paint it, and then I'll nail it onto the doorway. Alright, so here's the piece already cut out and measured the rest of the distance, 18.5 inches. And then what I did to get that piece, I measured the edge to edge from right there to right here. Gave me 23 inches. So I cut one at 23. That way when I set them on there, I already know that just by putting these right off the edge like that, it'll all be square. It'll all be even. So now I just got to paint this and nail it in place. Okay. Alright guys, here it is. It's the finished product. I am going to put a window. That's why it's open right there. I'll put a window probably about 15 by 15. But that will be on another video. As of now, the little house is done. That's what it looks like from the sides. Just got a few little details I could probably fix, but I'm not going to worry about it. This is where the cable goes up, right here. Up in top, on the inside. This is that cheap laminate that I put on here. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I grinded off all this, the nails that came in when I did the fence. I went all the way around to make sure there's nothing in here that they could poke themselves with. So right now we have the heating lamp on. It's on the top side of the, like the attic, I guess. It's big enough for us to fit in here. We fit comfortably. I did the same thing on that. Grinded down those nails that came in. But they like it. It's really comfortable for them. They're barking away right now. So yeah, there it is. Hope you guys like it. The girls like it. Go inside, girls. Go inside. It's nice and warm. Go, girl, go. Alright, so yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna put a 15 by 15 window on there. Nice decoration. That'll be on another video. Say bye. You guys could obviously modify anything that you guys, any kind of welcome that you guys want. What do you want, huh? You want to say hi to your friends on YouTube? Huh? Say hi. Anyways, so yeah, guys. Let me show you. To get this part up, you simply just lift up from here. I have my piece of wood right here that holds this stuff up. But that's the heating lamp right there. I'm thinking of maybe putting 2 of them. I'm not sure. I'll wait and see how. I can already feel the warmth coming out of it. We have tested this twice already to make sure that overnight, to make sure that there's no fire or it doesn't get that hot. I've came out here a few times throughout the night to touch the wood. It's warm. It's nothing that would catch fire. On the inside, it's nice and cozy. At the coldest nights, it keeps it about room temperature. So I mean, definitely wouldn't feel bad when we go on trips and leave them outside. You know, they'll be nice and warm. So yeah, guys, I mean, hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's tons of things that you guys could do different that I didn't do. At the same time, you know, I'm not a professional carpenter, so know that. And you guys could definitely tackle something like this for your dogs on a weekend, you know, and then go from there. So hope you guys like it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.